Hi, I'm Karceno.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Karceno and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Now, Skap Attack. Now, we normally agree with almost everything Skap Attack says. I tell you, almost everything this man talks about, we agree with. It is very far few and in between you see anything about us saying something crazy about Skap. And the reason why we don't say anything crazy about Skap Attack is because we're normally in agreement with Skap Attack, especially when it comes against LeBron James. When it deals with LeBron, Kobe, the whole thing, we're normally there. Like, he had a problem with my top 5 list. I had a problem with his list. Well, I didn't really have a problem with it. I just disagreed with his assessment that Isiah Thomas list, that Isaiah's list was wrong. And I'm like, how could his list be wrong and yours be right? He played in the league. He would know. But let's get to the essence of what we're dealing with here. Isiah went on Jason Whitlock's show. God only knows why. But Jason Whitlock got Isiah on this show on Blaze Media. And what made the situation go to this next extreme was something more incredible than I've ever seen in a million years. Isiah was talking about the walkout because everybody wants to blame Wemby for this walking out of the game. What's up, Alex? So they wanted to blame Wemby for walking out on the Knicks and not caring about the New York Knicks. So while trying to denigrate the entire existence of the Wemby and everything and try to say he has no class, all the French people are rude, they came up with every excuse in the book. Now, with every excuse in the book made, let's look at what the situation was. Everybody started to, oh my God, trying to make a story out of it because this guy does not appreciate the New York Knicks. I don't appreciate the New York Knicks. That team is inferior to the San Antonio Spurs. And the league chose to give the Knicks an NBA championship. That's still what it is. Now, regardless of that, Isiah was asked about the situation and him going through that with 1991, which is the most popularized event of all time. Let's listen to what Isiah said.
There's only been one non-handshake that has been memorialized in sport. We've seen a lot of non-handshakes by great players. And I'm gonna go back just to the era that I played in. Whitlock, I want you to find me the film footage of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird shaking hands at the end of the NBA Finals loss. And when you find that film footage, let me know.
So obviously, look, Zeke believes that the lack of handshake or that him leading the Pistons off the floor when the Bulls finally beat them in the 1991 playoffs, he thinks that's been totally overblown. Everyone makes way too big of a story about that. And he wants footage. He wants receipts of other great players shaking hands. Of course.
That's not what he said. He said, show me Larry. He said, show me Larry Bird and Magic Johnson shaking hands after the end of the NBA Finals. You completely tried to change the conversation to fit where you want to go. So you changed the verbiage. He did not say that. And you just played what the man said, and you went and said something completely different. The man didn't say, show me any other great players shaking hands. He never said that at all. He specifically said Magic and Larry in the NBA Finals. Go show me that. You know why he said that, Skap? He said that because it made sense. And they were the champions of that era. The Lakers and Celtics. He said, let's go back to my era. His era. You have to listen. He said, well, going back to my era. My era. The Lakers and Celtics were involved in every championship in the 80s. Either the Lakers went or Boston went, or they both played each other. It was going that way till the Pistons came and ruined the party. Towards the end of the year. Yep. In 19, that's true. No, it was every year. Pistons started the 90s off playing Portland. Before then, Lakers or Celtics, all the way through. So the whole 80s. So when Lakers played Bird, they didn't go over and say, hey, man, congratulations, Magic. You did your thing. You're not going to see that because it didn't happen. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was punching fans on the court. They were laying fans out cold. Who was running up on the court after they won the championship? Kareem was stink. They were knocking fans out. That's what was happening in the 80s. You know why he brought that up? This is why Skap brought it up. Let's play it.
I do have the receipts of Michael Jordan shaking his hand and the other Pistons players' hands when they were eliminated in 1989 and 1990 in the Eastern Conference Finals. See, this is in 1989, and we also, as I mentioned, have 1990 as well. And just for some backdrop or some backstory in between Michael Jordan and the Detroit Pistons, he lost, of course, in 1990 in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Pistons went on to easily win the NBA championship that season. And he lost in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals the year before in 1989, where the Pistons again went on to win the NBA championship. But it wasn't just there. See, Jordan also lost in the semifinals to the Pistons in the 1988 playoffs. So Michael Jordan lost to these Detroit Pistons 3 consecutive times in a row in the postseason as what many would suggest as the best player in the NBA. So obviously just excruciating exits and losses for Michael Jordan against these Piston squads 3 consecutive seasons. None worse, none harder than in 1990 in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. That was a series where Michael Jordan averaged 32 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. And his next best player on his team, Scottie Pippen, in Pippen's first All-Star selected season that year, Scottie Pippen averaged just 16 points per game in that series. Horace Grant averaged 11, and Michael Jordan had no other double-digit scorers in that series for the 7-game averages. And Jordan, again, 32, 7, and 6. In Game 7 in the 1990s Eastern Conference Finals, well, Jordan had 31 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds in that game. Scottie Pippen, again, first-time All-Star Scottie Pippen that year, played in 42 minutes, made just one of his 10 shots and scored only 2 points. So Michael Jordan out here against that hellacious defense, which beat the ever-loving hell out of him for 3 straight playoff runs, posts a near 31-point triple-double in Game 7 on the road, only to have his next best player and only all-star on that team, aside from Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, drop 2 points on 1 of 10 shooting in 42 minutes. And despite all of the immense frustration which had to be building within Michael Jordan, having lost that team 3 consecutive times and doing everything he could in that Game 7 and getting absolutely no help whatsoever, well, Michael Jordan, who was as much of a competitor, perhaps one of the greatest competitors we have ever seen at any sports level, professional or otherwise, Jordan still mustered the dignity and class to shake hands with Isiah Thomas and other Pistons players on his way off of the floor.
Now, let's stop that there. This is called moving the goalpost. You move the goalpost so you could bring this into a Michael Jordan, Isiah Thomas conversation. And you start bringing up stats that has nothing to do with the point. What Scottie Pippen did, how many points Michael Jordan averaged, has nothing to do with them shaking hands at the end of the game. So you're already trying to discredit Scottie Pippen and anybody else who gave any production in that series to try to glamorize Michael Jordan in losses. I know why you're doing that, but we'll get to that. Let's stay with the point that's on the table now. I knew you was going to respond to this. You know it, KB. Ain't no way I was going to sit still on this. We were supposed to do a face-to-face debate. I don't know what happened to him. I reached out. But, yeah, the thing is, this is the only subject me and him bump heads on whenever it comes to Isiah and Michael. This is where the fandom just takes him to a whole nother place. Now, in that same game that he said Scottie had the one shot in, that's the game that Scottie Pippen had the migraine headache, and he was playing through the migraine headache. Notice he doesn't bring that up, because it takes away from the agenda point he wants to exploit here. He never mentions it. He just said Scottie Pippen played 42 minutes and had 1 of 10 to try to minimize Scottie Pippen in his performance. Isiah Thomas clearly said, show me a tape of Magic and Bird. And here you come in claiming that you got the receipts. And you still didn't provide the receipts. He want to see other great players shaking hands. He never said that. He said, show me Magic and Bird shaking hands at the end of an NBA Finals. That's what he wanted you to show him. And you know what? You're not going to find it. That didn't happen that way. Guys did not go out on a limb and play with this type of notion and they didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? They didn't go to this extreme back then. Guys, if you lost, you walked off the court. Nobody cared. Nobody cared that Magic and Bird did not shake hands at the end of the game. Nobody cared, Skap. It wasn't a big deal. Some people were friends with guys. They'll go and say, hey, what's up? Nobody cared. The Boston Celtics, previously to the Pistons taking over, walked out on them. Nobody cared. Like he said, it's only been popularized and glamorized because Michael Jordan was the guy that they were going to portray to be the face of the league. Plus, it was the first year into NBC. If you want to know who really made this a big deal, was Dick Ebersol. Dick Ebersol from NBC, the Emmy-winning director who came up with making the NBA what it is today. He took them from a sport and turned it into entertainment theater. This man has never done anything with sports, Skap. It's not poor sportsmanship. Do you realize the reason that happened wasn't because they were winning the series? They were going to shake the Bulls' hands. Michael Jordan, before Game 4, came out and made a statement to the press saying that it was an agenda piece, hit piece against the Pistons. After they went up 3-0, he didn't say this when it was 0-0. He said it when they went up 3-0. Yeah, this is finally the end of dirty basketball. People are tired of that. Detroit, they're the only people that would love them. He dumped on the people in Detroit, everything. You did that in going into Game 4, making the statements about the Pistons organization. Isiah Thomas, not really Isiah, but the city, the people of the city of Detroit was pissed. The media was pissed. And they never talk about it. So I wouldn't have shook Michael Jordan's hand at the end of the game either. Still shouldn't have. Now, that's why they walked off the court, Skap. Do your review and report on that. That was the reason. It had nothing to do with what was going on the court. They didn't care about, I ain't going to say they don't care about the game, but that's not the reason that they shook their hands, because they beat them. Do the research y'all claim y'all do to go find stats. Forget the stats. Look at the facts. That's why they walked off the court. And not all the Pistons didn't shake their hands. Joe Dumars shook Michael Jordan's hand. Joe Dumars shook his hand. A couple of other players. John Sally shook some hands. Mark Aguirre did it before they walked off the court. When guys was on the court, he was shaking their hands saying, hey, man, congratulations. Good luck. Go do your thing. But when it was time to walk out, everybody walked out together. Isiah definitely didn't shake anybody's hand. Bill Laimbeer wasn't going to shake your hand. Robin wasn't going to shake any of y'all hands, because the disrespect factor was already set. But this was a bad omen for the NBA in their first year in their new deal with NBC. Dick Ebersol took over NBC. He told the board of governors, he told Rod Thorne, he told David Stern, he told all of them, you guys are doing this all wrong. You guys are treating this like who's the best player in the NBA. This is what you guys are treating this as. Who's the best player in the NBA? It's like, well, who's the best player in the NBA? Why would we be treating it like that? You're the best team's gonna win. You guys are leaving too much to chance. Is basically what they're saying. They're saying you have not a sport. You have entertainment theater. That's what you have. You have entertainment theater. And that's how we're going to do it. They're going to create an intro that, which we all know now. Dick Ebersol created all of that. He won Emmys for his programs. The Chicago Bulls were going to be the protagonists. Everybody else, the other 29 teams, were going to be the antagonists, trying to stop the good guys from winning the championship. He has to go through all these villains to get to the title. That's the theme every season. The league was purchased for Michael Jordan. So when they didn't shake hands, Dick Ebersol, who does television theater, who does sitcoms that he wins Emmys for, he wanted to see a passing of the torch, the shaking of the hand. Okay, you beat us, you vanquished the villains. And he didn't get that. So it's like he got robbed of his ending. He was upset. And at the same time this is going on, they end up punishing Isiah for not doing the handshake. That is the only reason Isiah was not on the Dream Team, because he didn't shake Michael Jordan's hand. And they used that as the catalyst to get him off the Dream Team. So, Skap, if you're going to tell the story, research the story if you want the truth. But if you're going to just spin a narrative and keep going with the narrative, then this is going to be what they call a hit piece. Because it's so many holes in this story, in your theory. He goes on to bring up Kobe Bryant hugged Shaq. Yeah, everybody after the fact of 1991, after seeing what happened with Isiah not shaking hands with him, and you're trying to say, well, Michael Jordan shook his hand every time. First of all, Michael Jordan won a champion. Okay, who was he that they had to shake his hand because he won? They were the champions. The champions get to dictate what they want to do, Skap. If the champions want to walk off the court, they walk off the court. Y'all got the win. Nobody cared. They got the win. They ain't taking the win away from you. They walked off the court. Fine. They can go. Yes, that's what happened. So if you wanted to get there, you had to go through the process. You had to go through the trials and tribulations. You had to get through all that, son. 747 fly through that. No. Because these are Michael Jordan enthusiasts. Now, I don't agree with everything Isiah Thomas say, even though he's the greatest player to ever play in the NBA. I do not agree with everything that he's saying because I know what it's about. Now, here's the thing that I wanted to point out to Skap. Michael Jordan was Michael Jordan. If the champions won, the champions dictate. That's how it was. Isiah said, in my era. So after 1991, everybody was, hey, how you doing? Good game, good game, good game. Everybody was shaking hands then. Everybody was scared not to after seeing what happened with Isiah in the Dream Team. Now, shaking hands was vital. So everybody was going to shake hands, even when they didn't want to. After watching what happened there, so he's talking prior to his incident with Michael in the walk-off. No one cared when it happened. Not one. Nobody said a word. And they wouldn't have cared if Dick Ebersol didn't care. Dick Ebersol cares. So Rod Thorne is going to care. David Stern, who didn't care, now has to care. And who did Isiah get along with more than anybody in the world? David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA. Loved Isiah Thomas. The dress code came because of Isiah Thomas. The NBA dress code. Isiah was responsible for that. He didn't know what David Stern was going to do, but David Stern was like, I've got to fix this. You know, people saying where all our players are looking like thugs coming into the game. He saw Isiah, all the New York Knicks players, when he was even the Indiana Pacers, they all had to wear suits. When he was with the Knicks, guys had to wear suits. And he was like, how did you get them to do that? He said, it's our requirement. He's like, Bobby Knight had us wear suits when we were in college. Everywhere we go, we had to wear suits. The Detroit Pistons, we were always dressed to impress. So when he went into coaching, when he was with the Raptors, those guys had to wear suits. When he went to the Pacers, all the Indiana Pacers, those guys had to wear suits. When he was with the Knicks, all those guys had to wear suits. So David Stern says, I like that. I was like, how did you get the guys to agree to this? He's like, it's a requirement. So he made it an requirement that everybody had to do. So whether you agreed or disagreed, I didn't care about the dress code whatsoever, but they felt like this is destroying the league. Well, David Stern did. But that dispels the argument. It wasn't a big deal. Now, we will get to the other point Skap brought up from Isiah talking about the flu game, which really set him off.
Of the game, we should start telling the truth. And, you know, I covered that game, and we were all told that, you know, he had the flu. Then, since then, his doc came out, and he didn't have the flu. But we still promote that game as the flu game, when now we know it's not the flu game. The hero in that game was Scottie Pippen, who was so overlooked. Scottie Pippen basically was playing with a back that he should have been in the hospital with. But we didn't give Pippen the credit of playing in that game, and we saw Jordan leaning on Pippen. Pippen got a broke back, and he carrying Jordan off the court like he got the flu, but Pippen playing with a real broke back.
And look, I couldn't resist. I couldn't help myself.
Hey, now, here's the thing. Hey. Here's the thing. This is what's crazy. Here's what's crazy about what was just said. This is what was crazy about what was just said. Everybody who looked and saw all like what was on the table, everybody know what this is. Zeke just messing with Mike's head. Exactly. We know what this is. We know what this is about. Because y'all be like, y'all get all upset. You see how Skap got upset about it and all this? He knows Michael Jordan. See, the rest of y'all don't know Michael Jordan. We've seen Michael Jordan complain about the tedious things that irk him, that stay with him. This irritates Michael Jordan more than you know. Once he got to hear it, and he will hear it. Somebody will send it to him, Charles Oakley, dumbass, anybody will send it to him. But Michael will hear about it, and it frustrates him. This is why he's so mad at Isiah, because Isaiah's just going to keep turning the knife. When he goes on the internet and mentions Jordan, said he'd be 0-6 without Scottie. That you could take Jordan off and put Kevin Durant in there and they can win 6 championships. Woo! Do you know what that does for Michael Jordan? That's why he sat there on that interview, was sitting down doing the interview with them talking about the game. Yeah, Game still this. That's why Michael Jordan want to do all this stuff. It irks him. It irks him so bad that he's being disrespected in that way. This is why Zeke is doing it. Now, we all know it's semantics, okay? He didn't have the flu. He was food poisoned, stomach flu. It's all Michael Jordan was ill. Isiah's mixing up the games. That was the second time they played Utah. Scotty's back was messed up. He had a bad back the second time they played. Wasn't the first series. It was the last series they played. But he's mixing it up. But still, Scotty wasn't great in that game at all. It was Michael saving their ass against Utah. Utah played a very respectful game to Michael, even though he was ill. Michael would have never beat the Pistons in that condition. That was remarkable, and that was the only time I wanted Michael to win badly, because they went through the extreme of trying to poison Michael Jordan. So they deserve what they got. They deserve to lose. As much as I didn't like Mike growing up, and I was a devoted Piston fan, I never, ever want to see somebody try to Tanya Harden a player before the game. No, if we the best, we got to beat them on the court. At their best. Don't try to give me no advantage like that. Trying to weaken him and all that so they can have that as an excuse. No. We don't want it. So that's the competitiveness of the game and the sport that we want. So no, we all know what it's for. Like I do. And because I know Isiah is very cerebral. So I know in his mind what's going on and what he's doing. QC Gambling, where's Isiah Thomas from, sir? Can you tell me that? Can you answer that question? Where is Isiah Lord Thomas III is from? That's right. He's from Chicago, where I'm from. And guess what? Guess what? Guess where I'm going to be? I'm going to be chilling like a villain. Oh my God, people are sending me stuff as we speak. Because I know firsthand what's going on in this whole situation. That's right. Mm-hmm. No, Isiah's from the west side of Chicago. Stays right down the street from where we all knew. So I'm very happy. I'm not glazing anybody. I'm just telling you, this is what it is. Yes, Mike did have a version of the flu. He was food poisoned. There was no question about that. He was ill. But that's why Isiah said in the frame of mind that he does, that we got to start telling the truth. They still call it the flu game. They do that because they don't want anyone else to repeat what happened. So by them going out saying it was the food poison game, and they start telling the stories, they don't want to encourage somebody else to try to do the same thing. So that's why they just called it the flu game. So this is why you got to understand there's the politics behind certain moves that was happening at the time. You got to do your research. See, for me, it's easy because I lived it. Everybody else, y'all would have to do your research and go back and find this information to see what was going on. See, me, I lived it. So I know it like the back of my hand. Food poisoning, the flu, stomach flu, temperature is in the hundreds. Come on. He throwing up constantly. He couldn't barely play. They did what they could to get Michael Jordan to play. So it was all their karma that they end up losing. We're in Chicago. We knew probably after that it wasn't a flu, that he was food poisoned and all that. The stuff, it spread it from the training staff on out. They knew. It's just that it wasn't the internet back then. If there was the internet, the whole internet would have been known. Yes, he ate bad pizza. He was the only one to eat the food. Everybody else didn't eat it. They were up gambling, playing cards. Scotty and them didn't. Everybody's like, Scotty probably poisoned that pizza because he wanted to be the star and save the team. Scotty never would do and had the balls to do something like that. Michael was the only one eating the pizza. Scotty knew it was something crazy when like 8 guys or 5 guys dropped the pizza off together. And they paid him, and it was like, instead of 1 delivery guy, it's like 5 guys there. They were like, yeah, we want to deliver the pizza. And in Utah, everything is closed. Like at this time, this is different now. But back then, everything was closed, and there was nowhere to get anything to eat, except for this one pizza place that's open. And you're in Utah, like Salt Lake City, it's limited. It's only one hotel you're going to stay at in Utah. They know the players there, so if they get a call saying they need the pizza from this location and they need it from here, they know it's for the players. So they don't know which player is going to take it, but hey, maybe the whole team gets sick. So whatever they did to the pizza to get it sick, right, and nobody deserves that, because you could seriously do some damage to people. They can go to the hospital. All kind of things could happen in that moment in time. But people knew going in other towns. This is why, and like Isiah was telling y'all how it was in Boston, you couldn't even go out to eat. Get food, you had to have your own water brought in because you don't want to drink the water that they finna give you. You had to bring your own water, the wives. Normally these guys were married and their wives used to prepare their meals for them. So all they had to do was heat it up so they can have their meals ready to go. They had people were pulling alarms in the hotels, so that at 4 a.m, you got to be outside the hotel, because somebody had pulled the alarm down. So you got to wake up in the middle of your sleep and come outside. Then on top of that, the Boston Celtics showers for the visitors only had cold water. So Boston, you always was angry when you played the Celtics because you had to go through that. Now imagine if they did that to any opposition team today. So the Celtics was going to take advantage of everything they could, not to mention their floor. The old Garden floor has holes in them, like they got dead ball spots. And the Celtics know where these dead ball spots is on the floor. They know it's their floor. So they'll know and try to get players to dribble there because they know the ball going to die in that spot and they get steals. You had to figure that out playing the game. The NBA didn't even care about it. The Bulls started doing the same thing. The Chicago Bulls played another dirty trick. Where you have the opponent's goals, they would make the lights brighter over the opponent's rim. This is a secret I've never told anybody. So you're going to hear it right now for the first time. The Chicago Bulls used to have lights that were bright, way past what they should have, and it would throw off jump shooters. If you shoot a long-range jump shot, the light was so bright, you really couldn't see the rim. The Bulls used to cheat. Absolutely. And it seems like once they switch from one half to the other half, you start to see they can't see. It isn't like those lights. Oh, no, those lights stay the same. No, they didn't. They knew how to position those lights in a certain position every time. So yeah, they played a very dirty game also. So you got to understand that this thing was going both ways, two sides of the coin. But Skap, you did a good job to get to yourself to the Michael Jordan situation. But Michael Jordan was not a champion at that time, so he has no weight. I know you want to believe he's Michael Jordan. He wasn't six-time NBA champion Michael Jordan at the time. Who was he? They were the world champions. They've been to the finals 3 times. They get to do what they want. The champions do what they want. If they want to walk off, fine. But now, let's talk about the present time. Right? Present time and era. How many times you've seen LeBron James just walk off a court? Now, handshake, it don't even matter no more. We're right back to where it don't matter. So you've seen teams walk off. They don't shake anybody's hands at the end of games. They go right to the locker rooms. Nobody's shaking anybody's hands. We've seen that a lot. Regular season games all the time. There was more handshaking done back in those days than it is today. Nobody cares now. Now, in the NBA Finals, Wemby don't shake hands, and the rest of the Spurs didn't. The only person was Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett went back with the coach, I think, and they congratulated players. And that was it. Luke Cornett didn't do it. And the rest of the team, they all decided to walk off. So that's that. Yeah, nobody cared. They didn't walk off because they got swept. You have to watch this video again. We have already covered it. Michael Jordan said some very terrible things about the city and the team of Detroit before game 4. Went to the newspapers right after game 3, disrespected the team, the organization, and the city. And that's why they didn't shake his hand. He didn't deserve to have his hand shaken. But you don't know that because they don't talk about it. Even though you could research it and find it in every paper. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, very much so. Yeah, it was very much so disrespectful to the game what Michael Jordan is allowed to do because you guys only know of Jordan from the 6 championships. So you don't remember Michael Jordan before he won championships. I'm saying it's good sportsmanship. So when LeBron walks off the court, what is that? Everybody else walks off the court. It's no problem. Nobody cares. Now it's all about sportsmanship. When is it about sportsmanship? When you care about it? Because everybody was doing it. Larry Bird walked off the court, and you ain't say Larry Bird wasn't a good sportsman. Who said Larry wasn't a good sportsmanship? Larry has never congratulated anybody on that court after he done lost in the NBA Finals, playoffs, anything. You never see Larry Bird go and congratulate anybody. I've never seen it. So Larry isn't a good sportsman, right? So Larry Bird isn't a good sportsman. His sportsmanship is terrible. You've been lying about Jordan, even the fake dynasty. Huh? I don't know what you're talking about. Well, see, you guys don't remember because you probably weren't born. I remember it. I was born, so. Michael Jordan put out an article and did an article, and it was such a big backlash behind it in the city of Detroit. And you would know what it was. It was what it was. I admire Wemby for not honoring the corruption that took place a week ago. Nobody's even talking about it anymore. So that's the beauty of it. Just like I said, it would fade away. So it was all for nothing. Everything I said in that Bulls fake. Oh, you talking about the fake dynasty on the Bulls? Yeah, went through their fake history. Yeah, I told the truth. Here we go. This is in June 8, 1991. What? They didn't just got me removed? Oh, they didn't took it down. Boo. But let's let AI do it. Following the 1991 Eastern Conference Finals, well, it wasn't following, it was during. Michael Jordan criticized the Detroit Pistons for unsportsmanlike conduct, citing this dirty play and refusal to shake hands. This is the after one. I want this one. Hold on, let's see if we can get it. I'm gonna try to get it for us, fellas. I'm gonna try. Hold on. They won't let us get that one. Let me see if I can pull it up real fast. All right, we got it for right now. Let's see what happens. They might pull it down. Yep. Damn it. I tried to get it. I really did. Honest, I did. It didn't work. But anyway, you got to pay and be a part of the archive to get that. Let me see. Yahoo Sports got some, but it's a recap of it. Exactly. But anyway, Jordan did what he did, and that's why they walked past it. Other than that, no one cared. If Skap want to debate this, we can. He tried to move the goalposts. It didn't work. And that's what it was. So anyway, I'm out. Thanking you.